Hi everyone, my name is Logan Delgado and this is Transformation. Like millions of people, I battle with weight issues, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and I was on the road to being diabetic. I've transformed my entire lifestyle, all while reversing my health issues and losing 70 pounds. I've dedicated my life to my family and helping others achieve their fitness and nutrition goals through my YouTube channel, Goody Beats. Today we're talking to Nicki Robbins. Nicki has lived two lives, one as a homebody who kept to herself, and one as a fitness and nutrition expert. After losing 90 pounds and completely transforming her lifestyle, Nicki is eager to share her story with you. This is Transformation. Hey Nicki, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Logan. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you for taking this time and chatting with me and Quest Nutrition. It really does mean a lot to me.
I'm thrilled to be here. Really excited to share my story and be part of this.
Awesome. So let's start from the beginning. Where did it all start with you?
For anyone that knows anything about Midwestern people, it all kind of centers around food.
Yeah.
Everything is around food, and it's typically not healthy food. It's that good old, comfort, lots of pasta, bread, potatoes, inevitably that led to me being an overweight kid. Before I knew it, I was that third grade kid that was chunky and got picked on. And that was really hard. That was really hard for me.
Sure. And how did the bullying, how did it affect the situation? Did it make it worse? Was going food kind of like your comfort, your safe zone whenever you were being bullied?
Absolutely. I definitely found solace in food, and just kind of found that regardless of what kid picked on me that day, I could go home and I could eat a couple of Oreos, and that made me feel better. I got into high school and it was even worse, because once you get into high school, then you're really aware of the boys, and all of my friends were littler than me and they were dating, and I was the girl that was always kind of in the friend zone. Before I knew it, once I was done with my associate's degree in college, I was up to about almost 200 pounds. I was at 198 at my heaviest.
Wow. And you being, how tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
5'4", 200
5'4".
pounds.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot on a 5'4" frame.
So as you got older, you're in college, how did that affect relationships with guys and boys? That feeling that, you weren't good enough, or, you just were always hyper aware of your weight. How did that affect relationships?
When I finally did start dating, I ended up in really unhealthy relationships with guys that didn't treat me very well, and I didn't feel like I deserved any better. Just because I compared myself to everybody else, and I was like, yeah, it's okay that he doesn't treat me great. It's fine. I didn't realize my self-worth, and I definitely tied that to my weight. I felt like since I wasn't thin and pretty like the other girls that I was going to school with, that I didn't deserve a guy that was going to treat me really well.
So obviously something changed. Something had to spark a change and say, no, this is not right. I need to make a change in my life, and I need to, obviously value myself more.
I actually, I met my now ex-husband, in 2010, and we got engaged. And he was a great guy, and it's amazing what the thought of a wedding dress will do to a woman. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of the spark for me. I knew that I did not want to be heavy on my wedding day. I was going to have these pictures for the rest of my life, and I wanted to look the best that I possibly could. And so I decided once we got engaged that I was going to finally make that change, and I was going to lose the weight.
Fast forward, you got married, you found this new passion about working out and changing your lifestyle, your eating habits. Now, what happened next?
So what happened next was my then husband and I, he was actually in the Army. He was stationed in Hawaii, so we moved out there. And I found out very quickly after we moved out there that he was not the right guy for me. We had kind of moved too quickly with the whole marriage, and despite our best efforts, we actually ended up getting divorced less than a year later. And so when I moved back to Arizona, there was the whole stigma of being a 26-year-old divorcee, having the failed marriage, and just dealing with all of that kind of sent me into a spiral again of emotional eating. And this time it took a turn of kind of turning into bulimia.
Tell us a little bit about this eating disorder. What is it, and how did it affect your life?
It basically took over my life for about a year and a half. And so I turned back to my old emotional eating habits where I'd go to the store and I'd buy popcorn and ice cream, and then I'd sit there and I'd beat myself up for it because I didn't eat like that anymore. And I was terrified that I was going to put the weight back on. And so instead of dealing with that, I just realized, hey, if I eat all this and then I throw it back up, I'm not going to put the weight back on.
What made a change? What kind of gave you a signal and said, look, this is not right. This is not sustainable. This is not the lifestyle that I need to be living. This is not healthy. What made you change?
My family was noticing a difference. At the time, I was actually living with my sister. And the straw that broke the camel's back was she actually came home one night and she caught me. She caught me when I was in the bathroom, and she heard me, and she came and she pounded on the door and she just said, "Nicki, I know what you're doing in there, and it's not okay. And you have to stop doing this. Your family loves you and you're going to kill yourself." And my family actually ended up having an intervention, and they sat down and they said, "You know what? This has to stop. This is not okay. You have to get your life back on track." That was what I needed to make it stop.
So what was the next step? You had the intervention. The family told you, you need to stop. You just completely cold turkey, just stop doing it? And
I did. For me, it was just that fear of letting down my family. Mm-hmm. I just learned to develop a healthier relationship with food. And part of that was also incorporating Quest products. The bars and the chips were things that I could substitute, that they were the things that I was craving, yes, that I could eat and not feel guilty about.
You've been really overweight and really underweight. What advice would you give somebody that's struggling with maybe being overweight or being really, really underweight? What guidance can you give them?
Ask for help. It's never, ever, ever too late. You can always change. You just have to decide that you want it. I knew the least about nutrition, the least about fitness of anybody that I knew, but I still was able to make this change and lose 95 pounds. If I could do it, literally anybody can. You just have to decide that you want it, and you have to be willing to seek out the people that can help you get there.
It's just an amazing transformation. It's an amazing story, and I can't thank you enough for sharing it with us today.
Thank you, Logan.
Nicki shows us that we're so much more than the lies we tell ourselves. From being bullied and overweight as a kid to overcoming bulimia as an adult. She shows us that anything is possible. Most importantly, she shows us that there's someone out there who cares about you. So it's time to start caring about yourself.